Coming up, wind chills as much as 15 below zero are possible tonight.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. It is dangerously cold outside as Arctic air is sitting on top of the bluegrass. Many school districts are closed again tomorrow. That's because of the cold and the snow that's still on some of the roads. Here's an interesting look at a few of those roadways in Hazard this afternoon. No, we weren't going that fast. We sped up the video. The main roads were in pretty good shape, but black ice is a big concern tonight as temperatures drop to around zero, and we could see more snow later this week. Meteorologist Cameron Aaron begins our first alert day weather coverage. Cameron.
Yes, Steve, the big story tonight, we are tracking some bitterly cold weather, and that is why we have a wind chill advisory in place across the mountains, and that will last through early on Wednesday. We could see low temperatures close to or below zero in many areas, and again, those wind chill values possibly as low as -15 as you wake up on Wednesday. So be sure to bundle up, also protect those pipes and your pets as we see some dangerously cold weather through Wednesday morning. Temperatures right now down to 2 degrees in London, down to 9 for Somerset, 7 over in Jackson, also in Hazard, and we go even lower as we go into tonight, all thanks to a clear sky. Also the snow on the ground that will allow that really cold weather to continue. A clean sweep on first alert pinpoint Doppler. Once again, we stay dry on Wednesday under some sunshine, but check out those temperatures. It is brutal as you wake up and walk out the door on Wednesday, and again some more sunshine tomorrow, but again more snow chances by Thursday, Friday. Those details plus your full 7-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. Laurel County officials are helping folks to keep warm tonight. Jeremy Tom spoke with London police about the ongoing weather impacts and with a woman who's felt the bite of that cold worse than most.
It's very bitter. You could die in that.
The sun was shining on southern Kentucky Tuesday. The cold weather still consumed the region.
We obviously have to bundle up just like everybody else, but it kind of changes our roles a little bit.
That meant extra patrols for London police to watch for downed power lines, water main breaks, and more. It also led them to find Hope Harlan.
I have a bus that I'm flipping to a tiny home, and I had the propane running, and I woke up freezing. It had run out.
The bus wouldn't start, with Harlan saying her engine block likely froze.
I had spray painted help in the front window, and people stopped and asked if I was okay. So I told them no, probably not.
Harlan is one of several who's already come to the shelter seeking warmth, but London police tell me that they are ready to help even if you're in a position where you cannot make it to their center.
We're more experienced driving out in this type of weather. We'd rather us get out and risk our lives than a citizen.
Their response Monday may have just saved Harlan's.
It said that I had 2 hours left of kerosene, stuck and running out of heat. Not a good combo.
This shelter closes at 8 on Wednesday morning.
Once that time comes, where do you go from here?
I don't know. Trusting God.
But Harlan has hope she will make it. And while it's been a humbling experience, she hopes others also come here for the night. They need it.
You got to make a good choice, live or, let your pride get in the way.
In Laurel County, Jeremy Toms, WKYT.
Harlan says she had several pets with her as well. Animal Control was willing to take them and will return them to her when she has a safe place to be. Laurel County Emergency Management is also hosting a second warming shelter at the First Baptist Church on East 5th Street. Now, we have a list of warming centers in other counties, and we've added to that list today. You can find that at WYMT.com. The bitter cold temperatures have many people turning up their heat tonight. One Lexington heating company says they're getting about 100 calls a day. Grayson Passmore has the tips you need to know to help keep those heaters running.
Right now, I am jumping out the gas furnace to get it to run.
Shane Keller walks us through just one of the many calls he'll work today. The technicians at Fayette Heating and Air will be making hundreds of stops this week.
Heat pumps are only good roughly to about 32 to 40 degrees, and then they rely on that auxiliary heat as a backup to kind of bring sufficient heat to the home. if it doesn't kick on, like the breaker's bad on it, or the heat kit itself is bad, it can't heat the house the way it's supposed to with just that heat pump.
While every call is, of course, different, Fayette Heating and Air technicians say there are typical issues they'll see this time of year with these type of temperatures.
For blower motors or compressors, they tend to go out when it gets super hot or super cold, you know, right when it matters the most. Board issues, you know, communication issues. You know, this right here is pretty much the brains of the operations. If there's a short somewhere, or anything's kind of burnt out in the back, or nothing's communicating the way it's supposed to, you know, the entire piece of equipment won't run.
Or like in the case of this house call, the homeowner thought their heater was making a weird noise and wanted to get it checked out, hoping to be safe rather than sorry this week.
I come to someone's house and I'm like, there's an issue, I can fix it, you know? And, you know, the satisfaction you get from being able to tell somebody we can help you, we can get your heat back on, it's fulfilling, at least at my end.
In Lexington, Grayson Passmore, WKYT.
With these extremely low temperatures, you will also want to protect your pipes. Kentucky American Water has some tips for you. If your pipes run through cabinets, open them to allow warm air to flow in. Wrap your pipes with insulation. You can let your faucets drip to keep water flowing, but some local officials want you to avoid that if possible to save water. Fix drafts around windows and doors, and check your sprinkler or irrigation systems. Road crews are still working to make travel as safe as possible. Crews in London were able to clear off several busy streets in the city today. Mayor Randall Weddle says they have worked day and night. Weddle says the salt they have used to treat the roads has helped, but they expect conditions could get worse overnight.
Of course, as temperatures drop tonight, we're going to be probably fighting a lot of ice, but you know, the temperatures has had a lot of effect on what the salt is currently doing.
Weddle says the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet and the city's street department have both worked tirelessly to clear those roadways. The snow and ice on the roads have caused several collisions and led to stranded drivers this week, especially yesterday and last night. Kentucky State Police Trooper Shane Jacobs says they've received more calls than usual at the Harlan Post. Jacobs says it's important they get out to clear the scene of a collision quickly in order to keep the roadways open.
We respond to these events. We're trying to make sure that the roadway is staying open at all times. We try to get these vehicles cleared out of the roadway, and then let the state highway workers out. They're continuing to plow the roadways. We want to make sure that they have the opportunity to get these roadways clear as possible.
Jacob still urges you to stay off the roads tonight if you can. In Magoffin County, first responders are hard at work despite the cold and snow. The ice and snow present an extra challenge for Patriot EMS. Amanda Tackett says in some cases they may have to park an ambulance at the bottom of a hill or driveway and walk the rest of the way. They also rely on their partners at the fire department to help with patients. While some students might still be out of school on Wednesday, many will be logging on virtually. Students from Hazard Independent Schools will be using another NTI day tomorrow. Superintendent Sandra Combs says they are helping students that have limited technology in any way they can.
From access to Chromebooks or help with clothes or food or anything like that. So we make sure that they have an opportunity to do that. And if those students who cannot log on or have a hard time logging on, they still have the opportunity. They have some days, they have the opportunity to complete that work.
Combs says students are given packets if they are not able to use a laptop or other technology. She adds that students will still be able to make up work once back in the classroom. Now, we have more than 100 school and business closings and delays again tonight. You can always find those on the WYMT News app, and you can download it by scanning that QR code there on your screen. You can also sign up for closing alerts for specific schools and breaking news alerts. Again, the WYMT News app. As we are going to be feeling these Arctic blast temperatures for the next several days, it's very important for folks to dress appropriately while outside. Kentucky River District Public Health Director Scott Lockhart says layers are key, but he also warns parents to pay attention to how their kids are dressed before going outside to play in the snow.
If you're cold, they're cold. So the young ones who really can't say, well, I'm too cold or whatever there, make sure that you're dressing them accordingly, and also beware, you may be dressing them too warmly. You know, we've all seen the baby at times that's just so bundled up they can't hardly breathe. You know, we want to make sure they're warm, but that they are dressed appropriately.
Lockhart says covering the ears, neck, face, and hands is also important because any open skin in these temperatures can be prone to frostbite. With a little sunshine hitting the hills today, some folks in Pikeville had some snow day fun. From sledding down the mountainside with friends to taking their pets for a stroll through the snow, students and community members say the day served as a nice pause. And while the dangers and inconveniences of the weather were obvious to all, they say making the most out of it was a good way to go.
Our daughters were out here playing in the snow. It was really cool to watch her get to experience something that I didn't get to grow up with.
It's the best thing ever. Honestly, we like our dogs more than anything else, so getting to spend time with them outside, roll around in the snow, it's definitely the highlight. Oh yeah, for sure.
The pups and people had a fun time today, but a state of emergency is still in place, so enjoy the winter weather responsibly and stay off roadways when possible to allow first responders to work as needed. The bitter cold temperatures pummeling much of the United States are being blamed for at least 12 deaths from Oregon to Tennessee. Parts of the country saw wind chills dip below -30 degrees this morning. Heavy lake effect snow buried cars in western New York, and winter weather downed trees in Oregon, causing power outages. On the roads, a wintry mix of snow and sleet caused havoc in the south, including across much of Tennessee. And in the skies, airlines across the country have canceled more than 2,500 flights and delayed nearly 7,000 more, and that was just on Monday. Well, drivers could see gas prices start creeping back up again. Attacks by Iran-backed militants in the Red Sea have effectively closed one of the globe's main trade routes to container ships. Now oil tankers are starting to avoid the southern Red Sea, and that's expected to increase gas prices. According to AAA, the national average is just more than $3 a gallon. Kentucky's average sits at $2.78 per gallon. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, fresh off a win at the Iowa caucuses, former President Trump was back in a courtroom today. We'll tell you what happened.
Plus, a first alert weather day continues as the bitter cold sticks around. Your forecast coming up after this break.